dancing girls, clowns.
तू किसी serious? Yeah.
अरे मस्त कहानी है इसकी तो.
Yeah.
इसमें तो पहले हमने उनको, so Neeraj Ghewan was a first time filmmaker. He had just quit his corporate job and got into filmmaking.
Right.
So he came and gave us the script. We read it. We chatted with him and हमको पता नहीं था कि क्या होने वाला है, कितना बड़ा ये चीज बन जाएगा. So I think first time filmmaker को थोड़ा बैंड ऐसा बुली करता है कि हाँ बेटा हम 20 साल से जानते हैं, ये हमारा गले में तो आया, अभी तो सुन क्या होता है. But so we gave him a tune which he rejected actually. And तो हमको थोड़ा बुरा लगा कि भाई ऐसे कैसे. Then we gave him another tune and he rejected. We gave him the third tune, he rejected that. Then I think the fourth time फिर राहुल राम ने उसको फोन करके थोड़ा डांट लगाया कि तू क्या कर रहा है, तुमको पता है तू क्या कर रहा है, तू कंफ्यूज फिल्म मेकर है.
Welcome to News 18 Showsha. I'm Yatamanyu Narain and I'm with one of the biggest bands of the country, which is Indian Ocean, and they have recently released an album after a very long time, which is Tuheen. So hello guys, how are you?
Hi, all good. Thank you for calling us.
There's a long gap between your last studio album, which was Tandanu, and Tuheen. So what is the reason behind this?
Simple reason. We had one is that we are a lazy bunch, as they say, because there are gaps between our albums. Anyway, no, we had actually prepared this album much before it is released now. Unfortunately, there was this COVID which pulled us back for at least about 2.5-3 years.
Yeah.
We have been playing these numbers in our gigs earlier. So तैयार थी चीज, लेकिन परोसने में time लग गया.
Yes.
Certain circumstances which were beyond our control, and certain circumstances which we could have control, but yeah, I mean, the way we are.
Right. Yeah. Right. So what's the story behind Tuheen? I have already listened to the entire album countless times now, and every time, there's a new layer that I discover and my mind is blown away. So when was the seed of Tuheen was sown, and how you guys sort of nurtured it into this blossoming tree that it is today?
Nikhil, take it.
अच्छा सवाल है. No, see, first, really thank you so much for listening to the album.
Right.
I'm so glad you liked it, and we also hope that people will listen to it. We are a slightly demanding band. We demand a little bit out of our listeners. It's a 50-minute album. It has 6 songs.
Yeah.
As an aside, there was one song which was released as a single in the first month of COVID. Akhiyan Udik Diyan.
Yeah.
So the process is that we keep making the songs we do at our own rate, at our own pace. We take slightly longer than the industry standard, but that's the way it has been, and I don't see that really changing. When we thought, like Himanshu said, we thought we had the album ready before COVID, and we lost 3 years there, and there was no real idea और कॉन्सेप्ट कि तू है एल्बम का नाम होगा, उसमें ये गाने होंगे, ऐसा तो नहीं था. We just keep making the songs, and all these collaborations happen just in the process of living life. Varun Grover contributed a song. We got an opportunity to play with the Ghatam master Vikku Vinayak Ramji. We got to play with the American saxophone player George Brooks. So ये सारा होता गया, and but then I think when we sat to chat about the album release, we noticed that there was a distinct theme in the songs, philosophically, or there seemed to be some narrative structure which was not forced, at least according to us. Like we are saying to people that this album is about climate change, environmental issues, which is actually a very broad based.
Exactly.
Like how can you say what has taken 9 years in one sentence? It's a bit unfair, right? But like I was saying that it took time, and there seems to be some theme. And we'll keep talking about it, and we'll keep writing about it, because it's just us as musicians and artists trying to reflect on our times and what we see around us.
So, one of my favorite songs from the album is Jadoo Maya. So, apart from being a beautifully arranged song, which it is complemented by some really hard-hitting lyrics, and it also draws a lot of parallels to the kind of time we are living in, socially, politically, culturally. So, what does that song signify for you guys?
See, please try and understand that we don't comment deliberately on anything. One, we are not politically or socially aligned any kind of a geopolitical or socio-political issue. Okay? We all live in a particular environment, and when the environment affects us in any way, I think it affects everybody equally. We don't question these kind of issues ever.
Right.
We are musicians. We believe, and obviously we stay in a society, and it's not just Indian society; it's a global society that we live in today.
Right. Yeah.
In the times of today, there are certain things that we feel strongly about, and it kind of subliminally gets reflected in the songs. Yeah. But there's nothing like a deliberate attempt at maligning somebody or saying something about somebody. For us, it's a broad-based issue. Something that has been going on for millennia. It's not this today's world or it's today's situation. So, the thought process comes from there, essentially. And the song is something that has been brewing since the time we started making music for Masan. We had made a particular tune.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out in the film, but then Varun said that he will write something for us, and he did. And it's a brilliantly it's a brilliant writing on his part. Always is. It's what comes out of that mega mind of his. It's a word that he uses. Thether. It's such a word that you have to actually understand what it means, and things, very beautiful lines like ये बूढ़ी खचड़ा गाड़ी है जो धक्के धक्के चलती है, ये उजड़ी ठाकुर बाड़ी है जो अब मुंह ढक्के चलती है. That's so these kind of things only come out of somebody who has read a lot and experienced a lot. And that's what he has. So it comes from there, and he knows that we are the kind of people who get affected by these kind of lyrics.
Yeah.
And we'll do justice to what he has written. So that is the evolution of Jadoo Maya.
Right. Yeah. So the other two songs that I love, one is Jungle, of course, and another one is Tan Dhan. So for both of them, you guys collaborated with, like you said, George Brooks and Pandit Vikku. Yeah. So how was that experience, creating something so blissful together?
I mean, I can go on and on about Vikkuji. I mean, there was a particular concert in which he was playing, and Amit and Rahul and Nikhil had you were there, right, Nikhil?
Yeah.
Where he said that you have collaborated with my son. You have not done anything with me, So it was like coming from him, and it's like a blessing. He's there are giants in the field, and there are mega giants, and there are beyond that. He's God. I mean, he's asking you for something which, I mean, you would fall 20 times at his feet and say, "Sir, please,"
Yeah.
And just to meet him, just to be in that same environment as in which he works, just to understand how he functions, I think that journey is something that will stay with us for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very humbling experience. I mean, I can't explain how brilliant the man is, how simple the man is, how childlike his entire, the way he looks at the world. He's something else. I mean, he's a treasure that India has, and we should be thankful that he's around.
Right.
And and I was very, very lucky. I there's a draw of lots, and I was asked to. I was fortunate enough to go and pick him up for the studio recording, and I went there, and believe you me, he was standing at the crossroads waiting for me to come, and I said, "Sir, I could have searched you out." He took me happily to his the Abhyas Shala, and then he selected the ghatams, and he was just tested it out. Yeah. And then he took me home. He says, "Before we go, we have to have tiffin." And he gave me those idlis, and that whole breakfast routine was there, and just being there with him, it was a big pleasure. I can never forget that.
Right.
It's the same for all the band members. I mean, he complimented each and every one in telling them, encouraging them, saying that I like the beat structure. He loved the riff that Nikhil had done, and he actually told him, "बहुत सुंदर है."
Yeah.
for us, it's a humbling experience. And these people have this beautiful, habit of dumping down their own capability to match ours. They come down to our level. It's great. Who can forget that?
Right. So, COVID was a particularly hard time for everyone, especially, artists and musicians. So how did you guys navigate through it individually as well as a band? And whether it impacted or transformed your music in any way?
The first year of COVID, we were quite happy that there was a break. ऐसा अच्छा लग रहा था कि सब लोग ना खाना बनाना सीख रहे थे. They're spending more time with the families because we are on the road for years together. And I think that really started changing as we started observing, the pain and suffering around us. हमारा तो पूरा धंधा बंद हो गया, because we make a living mainly as a touring act. So it was a tough time, I think, and everybody were doing their own things. We were doing, like Tuheen and I got into teaching music a little bit, kind of upskilling. The other guys were doing various things. Himanshu ji keeps doing his projects. So I would say that the band kind of, we didn't do much as a band for a year and a half. And then we started meeting after the first lockdown slowly and just, chatting and making some tunes. So it was a tough time, and we're so glad it's over, frankly.
So you guys have successfully carried forward the legacy of and the musical vision of Ashim Chakravorty to this date, and even with the latest album. So what do you guys miss about him the most?
That's something that the three of us are completely not qualified to talk about. I've never met Ashim. So that is a question for either Rahul or Amit, but we know Ashim really through the stories that these guys tell. And I have to say that not a day goes by that we don't talk or think about him. Like even yesterday, we were playing in Delhi. That was the second performance in our two-head tour. And, Rahul said something on stage that, Ashim hota to wo aisa bolta, wo aisa kuch kehta. And so, yeah, I think that will, continue to be part of Indian Ocean. They're all part of Indian Ocean.
Right. So, talking about your song from Masan, it has attained a cult status and it's a perfect song that people would call Evergreen in the coming time. So, can you recall some memories of recording that song?
Which song?
Which one? Tu Kisi Rail Si?
Yeah, Tu Kisi Rail Si. Yeah.
अरे मस्त कहानी है इसकी तो. Yeah. इसमें तो पहले हमने उनको, so Neeraj Gewan was a first time filmmaker. He had just quit his corporate job and got into filmmaking.
Right.
So he came and gave us the script. We read it. We chatted with him, and हमको पता नहीं था कि क्या होने वाला है, कितना बड़ा ये चीज बन जाएगा. So I think first time filmmaker को थोड़ा बैंड ऐसा बुली करता है कि हाँ बेटा हम 20 साल से जानते हैं, ये हमारा गले में तो आया, अभी तो सुन क्या होता है. But so we gave him a tune which he rejected actually. Okay. And तो हमको थोड़ा बुरा लगा कि भाई ऐसे कैसे. Then we gave him another tune and he rejected. We gave him the third tune, he rejected that. Then I think the fourth time फिर राहुल राम ने उसको फोन करके थोड़ा डांट लगाया कि तू क्या कर रहा है, तुमको पता है तू क्या कर रहा है, तू कंफ्यूज फिल्म मेकर है. So all of that. And then we went to Bombay for a performance, and then he invited us to his studio, and we saw the film. And actually, then we were blown away. We were really shocked to see what he had made because it was something. It was its own animal. Actually, it was 1,000 times better than the script. And then we kind of, after we saw some of the visuals, we gave him another tune, which turned out to be a version of the first tune that he had rejected.
Oh.
And and then he accepted that. Then we talked about who will sing it. Will Mohit Chauhan sing it? Will Rahul sing it? They said Rahul won't sing it. We want a slightly younger voice. And anyway, many, many things happened. We had an extremely eventful recording day. And, somebody who was supposed to turn up did not. And we made the 11th hour, 59th minute call to Swanand Kirkire. And he came. He said, हाँ मैंने फिल्म देखी, हाँ मुझे पता है, मुझे अच्छा लगता है. So I think we called him at like 9 a.m. and he showed up in the studio at 10:30 a.m. and he nailed the song. So it was a crazy experience, frankly. It's one of those industry stories, actually.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you will be taking Tuheen on a tour now. So what are some of the things you have planned out for the audience, for your fans?
Dancing girls, clowns.
In a parallel universe.
No. I mean, nothing really has been planned in terms of our strategy. We are going to be playing definitely 3 to 4 numbers from the new album.
Yeah.
And old cult songs, as there are, we played definitely. Every time you play in a particular venue or when these kind of tours are planned, I think you get this dedicated, great fan audience.
Yeah.
2 shows that we have done, one was at Toxic and then Molecule.
Yeah.
They've been amazing shows because the energy that we got from the audience in terms of them singing with us, knowing even the interludes of instrumentation, which they were doing da 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 da. Great fun. No. It's very heartening when this happens. Suddenly, सब थकान मिट जाती है यार. I mean, लगता है कि this is the moment that you live for. Exactly. And we expect that to happen in the other places. We hope that happens in the other places. So that is our expectation. That's our. There's nothing like a plan as such. Yeah, we look at the numbers and we do what we do.
Right. So finally, independent music has grown significantly over the past couple of years. So where do you see it going from here? And what are some of the current slew of bands or independent artists that you guys listen to?
I think independent music is going from strength to strength, and there is room for everybody.
Right.
There's really room for everything. यार बहुत कुछ चल रहा है, बहुत कुछ चलने वाला है.
Right.
And there is no one path to success. There is so much. You just have to kind of believe in what you are doing, find your voice as an artist, and keep doing it. Some of the bands we all love are, I think, Thaikudam Bridge is one of our favorites.
Absolutely.
Agam is one of our favorites. Gaule Bhai from Bangalore, Nepali band from Bangalore. The Revisit Project from Delhi is a phenomenal band. They are kick-ass. Their ambition of musicianship is something that was not there in India for bands 20 years ago.
So thank you so much for the time. It was pleasure interviewing you guys, and congratulations for Tuheen, and please keep releasing these albums and best of luck for the tour.
ये हमने जो सलमान खान वाली कमिटमेंट कर दी कि अभी इस अगले एल्बम को ना 10 साल नहीं लगाएंगे, इससे पहले आ जाएगा.
yes, please.
हाँ, फिर धीरे-धीरे हम लोग अपना वॉकर और व्हीलचेयर लेके ना नहीं कौन है टूर नहीं करेंगे हम 2034 में नहीं करेंगे वो काम. ठीक है.
So huge congratulations. Thank you and best of luck for the tour. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Lovely chatting to you. Thank you.